we have something unique coming up on this first weekend in October. Yes, folks, it's called a double header. We haven't seen that so far, and we are going to finally see it. And it all begins with a battle of the Royals. The Rajasthan Royals and the Royal Challengers taking each other on in the afternoon in Abu Dhabi. And that's the one to talk about, because first up, before we even look at team selection, Simon Dool, how different is playing in the middle of the afternoon going to be? You know when you want to get out there at that time?
Yeah, well, that is a guaranteed bat first. If either captain elects to bowl, I'm not going to do the show tomorrow, and I'm on both shows. So you need a backup, because if either captain decides that they're going to bowl first, I'm just not even coming on. I'm going to go down to the swimming pool and have a day off, because that is bat first all day in every afternoon game. So that's the first thing you got to get right. It's going to be a little bit different. Yeah, the heat. I mean, it gets cooler in October though, Gautam, Joy, which is nice. So it was 42 today. It'll be 41 tomorrow. That's quite nice.
41 tomorrow. Yeah, 41. I know the players are just looking forward to that. They say, we have a choice. We can either go to the sauna or we can go to the cricket match. Okay, let's go to the cricket match. But I just want to tell you that, Simon, at this point in time, you have shown more commitment than certainly the CSK batsmen. That at least you put your foot on the ground and taken a stand on this.
Fair enough. But in terms of team selection, I think that's another issue we generally talk about, because we are looking at a different time of day. Does that impact selection? Let's have a look at Virat Kohli and company. You would feel they got out of jail last time around, because the captain himself hasn't yet come to the party. So any selection issues for you, Simon?
I don't think so. I mean, the one thing you can do in an afternoon game is you can pick an extra spinner if that's what you want, and that's certainly an option if you're looking to bat first, because you go in hoping that you win the toss or expecting to win the toss, and then you pick a team accordingly. So you can pick an extra spinner, but I don't think Bangalore have got it too far wrong. Yes, they need some runs from the skipper. They'll come, and they won't have any problems. Washington Sundar was brilliant the other night. Chahal has been a revelation. He's bowling a slightly different line, and I think he's been so good this IPL. He's relishing the bigger grounds as well, so he's loving it. I don't foresee changes in that Bangalore side.
Agree, Joy?
I completely concur. I mean, if you play another spinner, the problem is you're already playing three spinners. You're playing Zampa, you're playing Chahal, you're playing Washington Sundar. You have enough spinners. Otherwise, I'd look at Moeen Ali, but you're already packing it with spinners, and you need at least two fast bowlers to end it for you. So that's the logic that they're going by, and I think it's fine. Look, also, RCB have notoriously tinkered with teams for a long, long time. Now they've got a result. I think they should just put their heads down and say that, the captain is too classy a player not to be in form for a while. And unimaginably, the first four that he's hit, the first boundary he's hit in this IPL is in a super over. He hadn't hit a boundary before that, which for somebody of the class and quality of Virat Kohli is absolutely unbelievable. So, look, I don't think that's going to last for long. They're in a good place as a team mentally, because one important thing for them, and that's really important, is they've got wins without Virat Kohli doing much. Yeah. And that's something that, they've always been over-dependent on Kohli, De Villiers, Gale over the years. Wins without Kohli performing is something he look at and say, okay, guys, you've got it done now. I can bat a little more freely, just as, David Warner not performing today will still feel he can bat more freely because the other guys have got it done. And that, I think, is really important.
Yeah, good point. And it's something the opposition will need to consider. The opposition in this case being the other royal team in the tournament, Rajasthan. Let's see what their squad looks like, and we'll have a look at that. The one thing Steve Smith will regret from the last game is his choice of shot. But other than Ben Stokes not being up for selection as yet, again, you're looking at a fairly settled side.
Yeah, I think so. They'll regret what happened the other day, Joy, won't they? I mean, that was... we talked about it in commentary. Jofra Archer set the tone with the ball and was brilliant in that first over. But unfortunately, Steve Smith set the tone with the bat. And that's kind of how their innings went.
No, absolutely. And the other thing I'd say is, and I'm being very honest, I mean, Yashasvi Jaiswal is a class batsman, okay? Just like Abhishek Sharma and, Priyam Garg have been persisted with, give him 5, 6, 7 innings. This guy's a class bat. And really, at this point in, like it or not, Riyan Parag is not doing too much for you. I know he's a favorite of the franchise. He's a great kid, but I would definitely, that's the switch that I'd look at immediately. Because they did enough with the ball. It's the batting that let them down the last match. And, RCB is one of those sides who, because they haven't had a great record over the last 3-4 years, is a side that if you punch them, they could go down. They're not a very resilient side. So, yes, these Royals should just ask themselves, can we just land a killer punch quickly and finish these guys off? Because 3-1, then you're immediately setting yourself in really good position for the rest of the tournament.
And the other thing is, I think Steve Smith plays spin pretty well for the most part. He's quite aggressive and can be quite aggressive against spin. So I like that choice of getting Jaiswal to the top, to open with Butler, left-right combination, and still have Sanju Samson at 3 and Steve Smith at 4, because you're coming up against a team with 3 spinners, two quality leg spinners. He knows Adam Zampa like the back of his hand. And then you've got Washington Sundar, who's probably going to open the bowling if Jaiswal plays, because he's a left-handed. But he's got two leg spinners through that middle that he knows very well, and Steve Smith doesn't mind attacking the leggies either.
Also, I think, I'm not sure, Joy, do they have a tour guide as part of the Rajasthan franchise? Someone who can remind them which ground they're playing in? Because Steve Smith did admit that they thought they were playing in Sharjah last time around.
No, I think they need a tour guide, because if they're going to make rookie mistakes like that, that's going to be a serious problem. But, as a franchise, I think that if they're looking at 2-1 for a team that hasn't really got a lot of depth to start with and is missing their iconic all-rounder, they're doing pretty well. If they can think they can sneak another win in here, it'll be fantastic.